this meeting of New Iberia City Council to order. We have the prayer and the pledge led by Councilman Robert Swear.
Would everybody please join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilmember Natalie Roban.
Present.
Councilmember Peggy Giraff.
Present.
Councilmember Robert Swear.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dan Doyle.
Here.
Councilmember David Merrill.
Here.
Councilmember Raymond Lewis.
Present.
And Councilmember Calvin Bagnell.
Here.
Mayor Curry, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Our first agenda item is public comment, and I'd ask at this time that everyone please put their phones on vibrate. If you would like to address the council concerning an agenda item, we had cards to be completed. I don't think that any cards have been completed, so we'll move on to the next agenda item. The next agenda item is acceptance of the minutes of the May 6, 2014 meeting as published on May 16, 2014.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Merrill, second by Mr. Doyle. Is there any discussion? Any objection? No objection, motion carries. The next agenda item is we have Iberia Middle School gifted students that are here, and there's a donation to be given to them from the West End, a donation from them to the West End Park Revitalization Project. And before they come up, I want to thank all of the teachers and also the students for their hard work for the bridge opening. The ceremony was wonderful. You did a tremendous job. I'm so proud of all of you. And I know when I came to visit you the first time, you were so enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm has continued all the way to the end. And the students asked if there was a project in the city that they could raise the money from this particular event to contribute to the city. And I know that West End has been trying to raise money for their playground equipment, just as City Park has new equipment. So my recommendation was that they make a donation for playground equipment in West End Park. And I don't know who's planning to address the council this evening.
She always.
We would all like to thank Mayor Curry, the City Council, and all the people who helped to keep this walk a safe and fun event. I hope our actions in the community will inspire other kids to lend a helping hand, because as most of us have witnessed, you are never too small to make a difference. And so, with our heads raised high, we would like to present this check of $3,711 to the council.
We have Mr. Seeley to accept.
You have,
Mr. Seeley.
Mr. Sigu, we have someone from the West End Revitalization Program, Mr.
We're gonna give
Sigu.
it not to me, I might do
Hold
a
on, he's
shot.
coming. Come on up.
Mr.
Come on up. Nice to
Sigu.
see you.
You gonna say something to thank him?
Mr. Sigu is here from the West End Revitalization Project. If you would approach the podium, Mr. Sigu,
Whatever
so
you
we...
want to say.
Good evening, Mayor Curry and members of the New Iberia City Council. I take great pleasure in being here tonight. On behalf of the children of the West End Park area and the West End Revitalization Project, we thank the Iberia Parish Middle School gifted and talented students and their sponsors for starting to make our dream come true. These students heard the cry of their fellow students, and they decided to take some action. And they were able to raise $3,711. These students have worked hard, showing great maturity in helping their fellow students. Because of their efforts, we are one step closer to fulfilling the dreams of the West End Park Revitalization Project. We are beginning to see the smiles of the children. We are beginning to hear their laughter. As a representative of the West End Park Revitalization Project, I take great pride in accepting this donation of $3,711.
Lord, thank you.
And I am accepting on behalf of the children in the West Park area, the West Park Revitalization Project, and the citizens of the city of New Iberia. We thank these courageous students for their hard work and determination. We are grateful for all of the hard work y'all have done. These students saw a need to help fellow students, took the initiative, and ventured out to help. We adults should follow their example, walk in their footsteps, and follow their actions. I pray that God bless each and every one of you
Isn't that
in
nice?
helping these other children. Thank you.
Can we have him take a picture? I want y'all to come
Come
up
up in
front,
the-
because I want the people to see how courageous y'all are and how young y'all are.
Uh-huh.
And young children can make a difference.
Uh-huh.
Y'all our future, baby.
Well, that's cute.
Mr. C.U.,
come on up.
yes, better get that with him.
Oh, thank you
represent.
so much.
They're gonna take a picture somewhere with Mr. C.U. He's
Yeah, Mr. Segu's gonna get in there.
Danny,
You might want to get in the middle.
the community kind of man. He's always instrumental in all that. Oh, look at that. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Once again, I want to thank all of you for your hard work, all of the students and all of your teachers. You certainly have been an inspiration to our community, and we thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful summer. I know it's almost here. So,
Thank y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all very much. Very much.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Lewis?
I just had a thought. Really, the Bible tells us, train a child in the way that they shall go, and they shall not depart from their
That's right.
teacher.
There is a.
And it's good to just, it's refreshing to see young children at y'all ages, all future in Iberia Parish and in the city of Iberia. Thank y'all for your hard work and effort, because eventually, hopefully, we'll see this project through. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much.
Thank y'all from the bottom of my heart, from my District 2, and the people of District 2, and the kids. I want the kids to be sure and look at TV and see what y'all could do. Children can make a difference. Y'all are our future. Thank y'all, baby, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so nice.
Thank you all very much. Okay, the next agenda item is agenda item 4. It's a resolution, Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of New Iberia to enter into a contract with Code of Champagne, Slavin and Company, LLC, for auditing purposes.
So move, man.
A motion by Mr. Swear, a second by Mr. Lewis. And I just want to give you a little bit of information as to why we have this on the agenda. Normally, professional services, the mayor can hire whomever she would like to hire, as long as our contract does not go over 24 months. But I have three more audits left in my term in office, and I think they did a very good job. They approached us and asked if we would enter into a contract for 3 years. If we enter into the contract for 3 years, well, let me go back. Before Kimberly was here, Ms. Segura, our last audit cost us about $49,000. She put so much work into the audit, preparing it and doing the work herself. This last one cost us right at $42,000. So we are saving money. In addition to that, they are going to go up 3% on next year to $43,200, and then it'll be level for the next 3 years. So I thought it was a good deal, but it's going beyond the 24 months, so I wanted to bring it to you to see if you approved. but I was very pleased with the work that they did. They were very thorough, and I think that they explained everything very well. So it's up to you as to whether or not you want to go ahead and extend their contract for the, I didn't want to go beyond my term of office, so I just wanted it to go through the audits of 2016. I don't know if anybody, Mr. Doyle?
So Mayor, we're just gonna budget the 43,200 per year, contracts for 3 years.
Right, per
And then,
year.
so do we have that in 2014 budget? This amount
Yes.
of money? Or we do have to
Probably
amend,
close to it.
like this budget for this year?
We haven't, it's over. Yeah,
Okay,
we're done.
and we covered it. So this money won't be
This will be
coming out
next
to
year's
2015
budget.
budget?
It'll be
That's
next
what I'm
year's
asking.
budget, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next year's budget. Anyone else have, yes, sir?
I'd just like to commend the job that they did. See Homeboys, local, they did an excellent job in this budget, as well as our treasurer's involvement in that process, but they really did a pointed job on this budget and where even a baby could understand it. Really appreciate the job that they did. Very much appreciated.
If there's no further comments, I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Motion carries unanimously. The next agenda item, Madam Clerk, is notice of public meeting.
A notice is hereby given that the mayor and the city council of the city of New Iberia, state of Louisiana, plans to consider a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held within the city to authorize the renewal of an ad valorem tax at its meeting on Tuesday, July 1st, 2014, at 5:30 p.m. at City Hall, City Council Chambers, 457 East Main, New Iberia, Louisiana.
So moved.
Motion.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
By Mr.
I'll make a
Bagno,
motion.
yes. A motion by Mr. Bagno.
Second.
Second by Ms. Roback. Basically, let me just explain. We have a renewal for our parks, it's not parks, for Public Works. It's money that goes into Public Works. It's for streets, sidewalks, and bridges. And the renewal is for next year. But we're going to put it on the November 4th ballot for, for the citizens to vote. It's a 10-year millage, and is just up for renewal. The reason we're putting it on right now is the procedures have changed. We have to announce it 30 days before you actually vote on it. So this is just the announcement. So you're voting on whether or not you accept the announcement to put it on the ballot, and then we'll have to come back at the July 1st meeting again and actually vote on placing on the ballot. So it's just the procedures. In fact, that's why I'm announcing the millages again tonight, because we have to go back, you have to announce it 30 days prior to. So I'll have to announce about the millages, even though we don't have to put them on a ballot. It's part of the new procedures. So does anyone have any questions?
So when would that election be, Mayor?
November 4th.
November.
Okay, I ask you to please vote your machines. Motion carries unanimously. The next agenda item is property standards?
Yeah.
Wow, property standards. Resolution, Madam Clerk?
A resolution declaring the attached list of buildings or structures condemned and ordered demolished and removed or repaired to conform to the building codes of the city of New Iberia as per instructions by the Board of Trustees. 312 Copper Street.
And this is Mr., no, that's not Swear.
No.
They put the wrong name on here. It's, that's Mr. Merrill's. And that property has been demolished.
No, it's the next one. That needs to revisit. You're right here. And
Oh, Lord, I'm sorry. You had it right. Okay, I'm sorry. Ooh, oh. Okay, this is the public hearing. Right, I'm looking at the wrong one. You have the after?
No, it's just a.
Oh, that's not the one. I'm sorry. I'm confused. It's my fault.
So we need,
It's the second one that's been removed. Let me go back, yes. Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address this particular property? Sorry, okay,
Usually on the public hearing, you get 90 days.
right. Okay, do we have a motion for 90 days? Mr. Merrill, is that okay
90
with
days is
you?
fine.
A motion by Mr. Merrill, second by Mr. Begno. Is there any discussion? No objection, we'll revisit 312 Copper Street in 90 days. Revisit, I skipped, I'm sorry, that's where I was. The revisit is 426 Hacker, and that is Swear. And, yes, sir. Motion to remove it. Motion by Mr. Swear. Second by Mr. Doyle.
Finally.
To remove it from the list.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long time around.
Any objections? No objections, motion carries. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Landry. We have just a few announcements, and then we'll go into our budget meeting. The next city council meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2014.
June 3rd.
Oh, shoot, my thing's,
Mine says June.
mine says May, I'm sorry. The next council meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014. City Hall will be closed Monday, May 26, 2014 for Memorial Day. And I have to announce this. I know last time we voted on the millages. We have to go back and do it again. We just realized there's a new procedure that was enacted in the legislature where you have to announce the millage that you're gonna have 30 days before. So we're announcing right now that we will adopt the 2014 millage rates on July 1, 2014. Nothing's changing, the millages are not going up. We're just gonna have to vote on July 1st to go ahead and renew the current millages.
What you mean?
We
No,
never, we
nothing's
didn't roll
raised. It's all
forward.
the same.
We're not rolling forward. Okay, I ask that you motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Begno, second by Mr. Dahl to adjourn, and now we will have our budget meeting. Mr. Gura is here to go over budget information.
Y'all should have gotten a copy in your packets of the information. The information that I went ahead and I included an additional copy of the balance sheet and the year-to-date budget report, as of March the 31st. I had given y'all a copy at the prior meeting, but I wanted to make sure that y'all had it in your packets in case y'all had any questions, regarding that. And also the sales tax summary was also included in your packet. The information that I'll go over, is the summary of our operating funds. It's, this sheet that shows, the 5 months worth of information. Basically, well, this financial report that we're going over is 5 months, into our fiscal year. So we should be at 42% of our budget. And so just looking down the revenue and the expenditure columns, just the ones that are, not quite to that level, for the most part, all of them are right at about the 41%. Some of them are higher. Finance is higher. Finance is higher because we have ad valorem revenues that we receive once a year, so all of that revenue is recognized once, all in that one month, and so then as the months kind of go along, that percentage decreases. Permits, inspections, permits, and compliance, they're higher than their percentage, and, you know, as you all know, permits revenue is recognized as they sell the permits. So that's gonna fluctuate depending on how much permit activity is going on. And as you can see, we're doing better than what we expected, there. Also, the Slyman is at 77% of their budget. You know, the rental revenue too is also based on, you know, the needs of the consumers. So, that's a little bit higher right now. Parks and Public Works are at higher than their percentage. Those two funds also receive ad valorem revenue, so it's recognized all in the month of November. So as the fiscal year goes along, that percentage should become more in line with time. If you look at wastewater's at 20%. If you recall, in the budget, we had budgeted approximately $6.5 million worth of loan proceeds that we're receiving over time. Those projects, once they get it's been slow. I think we've drawn down maybe about $500,000, 600, 700,000 so far on the whole, out of the whole $6.5 million. So that's why that percentage is so low. But as that construction activity takes off, that the loan proceeds are gonna be higher then. Going down the expenditure column, the Cliff Oakland building is at 60% of its budget. I mean, you can see that we only have $1,000 budgeted there. The majority of that is for the termite treatment of that building. And it's not really, you know, that big of a deal there. Insurance. Insurance is higher. Insurance is at 65% of its budget as opposed to the 42% comparison, and that's because we pay our property taxes all in the month of January. Not our property taxes, our property insurance. Sorry about that. Finance is a little bit higher, and we have a maintenance contract on our software that's approximately $30,000. That is all paid in December. And then there's some additional expenses that are associated with the property tax roll, and we incur that expense in the month of November. So all of that, we're maxed out on all that. We've spent everything that we need to spend for the fiscal year on those two areas. Planning and zoning, their expenses are lower, and if you recall, when we adopted the budget, within the planning and zoning department is that boat dock project. And yeah, as you can see, you know, the project is going on right now. We have paid the contractor one pay application, and they have submitted pay applications number 2 and number 3. We're waiting on some money from the state to make those payments, so that's gonna level off as the fiscal year continues. Everything else is, you know, relatively within the comparisons of the 41%. I mean, you can see on the wastewater side, wastewater's expenditures are only at 16% of their budget, and again, that's because of the loan proceeds. So as we receive those loan proceeds as revenue, we're gonna incur that expense, so the two are gonna level off. So I don't know, does anybody have any?
Question on that?
Oh, okay.
So that's, I know these numbers you're giving us is the budget of the whole department, but we also have the sheet with the line item of everything. And you look and talking about land application or wastewater, I saw some of the engineering fees was like one was 600% more we spent than we had budgeted on that on page 31 of the breakdown.
Correct. We had budgeted $500 and they spent $3,000.
Right.
And just to let you know, this report is as of the month of March. There was a budget adjustment that was submitted, so some money was moved within the department to cover that extra money that was spent on that particular line. So that has been corrected.
Is that because of a project that, or just because we underestimated the engineering fees for that?
I could answer what I think. I mean, Vince is here if he wants to address
No.
it.
I'm just, because if you look in the land application, you have one that was 177% increase more than we budgeted. That's on page 30. You see?
On the overtime?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
So I know we adopt the budget as a department, but we do have this.
Right.
Do we just transfer money from that department to cover this, or do we try to address these issues along the way?
Well, the money is transferred within the department. With respect to the overtime, you know, I don't, well, there was a vacancy in there. So that money, you know, was budgeted in the regular salaries. And so that money was moved from the regular salary account to the overtime salary. So to the extent that there's a vacancy, you know, the work still needs to get done. So then they cover it with overtime salaries if that's, you know, how it needs to be addressed. And
Shouldn't make a big difference in the overall expenditures in the department.
But at one point, we will have to address it the closer it gets to the end of the budget, correct?
well, it's already been addressed.
Okay.
It's already been addressed. A budget adjustment has already been submitted from the wastewater department to my department, and it has been posted. It's just that it didn't get posted in the month of March. It's been posted subsequent to that.
So just like on the insurance for the park and recreation, I saw we budgeted $5,000 and we're at 6,800 on unemployment comp.
Right, on the unemployment comp, right.
Huh?
I haven't, that money has not been moved to correct that yet.
Okay.
You know, the unemployment comp, you know, to the extent that people file claims, you know, we don't really know about them until after the fact. We don't pay into the unemployment comp fund like regular businesses pay into the unemployment comp fund of the state. We pay based on actual claims that are submitted on behalf of the city. So to the extent that somebody's filed a claim and they receive a benefit through the unemployment comp fund, the unemployment comp fund they turn around and they send us a bill for that actual amount. So as people file claims is how we pay. It's not like just a pure percentage.
So are you gonna, Mary, maybe you can, are you go to each department? I'm out of line asking this, or are you go to each department right now and we go through each thing
Oh, yeah.
in this breakdown? Or tonight?
You want me to?
No, Mayor, or you just
Whatever
wanna
y'all-
ask
it's however
questions,
y'all
whatever you
wanna
want, I
do.
don't wanna.
I mean, every department
I
is
thought we were going
basically
over-
in line with their spending, so.
The first page in general, I thought we were going
Okay.
over that, we were gonna address that and then move on as we go.
Okay, I didn't
y'all wanna do
know,
it.
but when you said,
Because this is
the
about.
reason you said about when you talk about the sewer, and I saw that, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
And you mentioned.
I don't know
Okay.
the exact answer though on the
Okay.
engineering fees.
Okay, well, we'll get to it if we go through it, go ahead,
Well,
excuse me.
Okay, so what do y'all wanna go through each page?
Going through the whole book line item by line item?
No, I thought we
take
were
six
going, I
sentences.
thought she gave us a summary for us to be able to address by department.
Mhm.
And if you have questions, and to me, it would make sense you itemize them to whatever department we're discussing,
Right.
so we're not bouncing all over the place. That's just my suggestion. I think that's why we have this, right?
But what I had planned to do,
It's a
you
guide.
know, this is, you know, our year-to-date budget report is, you know, approximately
Okay, yeah.
it's 35 pages.
Yeah.
So in lieu of going through
Yeah.
35 pages worth of accounts, I summarized it.
That's
you know,
fine.
just
I
to
think
let
it's
y'all
great.
know that,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
just didn't know when I would ask the
Okay.
question on what department.
Right.
That's-
You know, this is really what I had intended to go over.
Okay.
I mean, if y'all have questions about specific accounts, we can go over those individually. And, the only other thing that I had, presented for y'all was the sales tax summary. And I mean, I do it every
That
month.
was in the packet.
But, it was in
Yeah.
the packet?
Didn't y'all give us
It's
one?
right here,
Yeah.
yeah, but she did it,
Yeah.
she put another.
Yeah,
one
right.
in.
Uh-huh.
We're basically 6 months through our collections cycle, for the fiscal year. And our collections this fiscal year are approximately 1% higher than what last fiscal year's collections were through that particular point in time. 6 months left to go, so,
But unfortunately, our expenses are more,
right.
are
I mean,
going up.
each
Our
month-
expenses are increasing at more than the 1% increase that we have. Just, you can tell them, just the retirement alone.
Yeah, that-
MERS is going up, municipal retirement system, to 19.75%. The fire's going up to 29.25%. And when you figure you have to go up based on everyone's salaries, what did you figure for the rest of the?
The increase is effective July 1 through the end of the fiscal, it's from July 1 through June 30th, but for our budget cycle, it'll be from July 1 through October. It's gonna mean almost an approximate $20,000 more for that
Quarter.
period. Well, it's July, August, September, October, 4 months.
Yeah.
Well, a quarter's 3 months.
That's strictly for retirement?
That's strictly for
Strictly
retirement, that's
for
MERS and firefighters retirement. We haven't gotten a notice yet, on lasers, but we don't have much, going on through lasers. But future adjustments that I have coming before the council with respect to, adjustments to the budget, as y'all all know, we need to put that extra $800,000 into the Ormanco project in the budget, $400,000 out of the city, and then the $400,000 that the parish will contribute, towards that project.
We haven't got it yet.
Well, they had their meeting, I think it was last week. I don't think that we've actually received the resolution yet. I have the adjustment prepared, but I try to put maybe a couple of adjustments together so that it's, you know, not just one here and one there. The other thing that we have that's gonna be coming through, we received a grant award through the LGAP program. So we were awarded $35,000 to expend on 2 trucks in the wastewater department. And the other thing would be the additional retirement contribution that the city will have to come up with for the employer's portion, increasing by that 1% in the respective programs, which will be about $20,000 for the rest of the fiscal year.
Anybody have any questions? Mr. Swear?
Kim, on the fire department, we right at 39%, that's about where we should be.
Yeah, the average is 41%.
41.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then we operating 8 million less. So if we'd be operating with all our staff, we'd be way above.
Real.
Why we this high with 8 million less? Because the new position we have in there, we haven't funded.
Well-
Number 2 station been staying closed half of the time.
Signed for 4 positions today.
Yeah, but
4 new firemen
yeah, but that's the
today.
deal, man. But all this fiscal year, we've been operating short-handed, so we should be less right now. We shouldn't be
I
right
mean, I
now.
can go back and look at it.
We
I've
should be
nothing-
way less than what we should be.
Yeah,
so
probably
we
overtime
less
then.
people.
Might be
Might have
overtime.
Do y'all have a
For sure.
ratio percent y'all have to meet
That would
in the
keep it
fire
up.
department, or?
A ratio
Up
of
to overtime.
employees,
Add to that.
I'm not aware of, anything. Their unscheduled overtime was at 50% of the budget, and the holiday worked is at about 50%, so, you know, the average kinda levels
That
off.
levels off.
I can see the overtime, because, they kept not wanting to hire nobody, And
Well, then-
that's why we had to keep paying overtime.
In the
Instead of
fire
hiring new
department.
people, we'd have been better off.
Ms. Roban?
I just have a couple, lots, too many. Okay, I'm on the department detail page, you said right as I'm at. On city court, our revenues, it's showing we're at, 34.65%. So we're, roughly 6-7 points below where we should be. So I wanted to, for everyone's knowledge, what includes our revenues from city court? What would that be?
What page that is, man?
We
The department
receive,
detail.
we receive money from witness fees and we receive money from the marshal. Part of the reason for the fluctuation in the variance is because we recognize the revenue during the fiscal year as it's received. And it's basically for the month, we receive it in the subsequent month or the following, or for the previous month. And so at the end of the year, we're actually, in the month of October, we're gonna recognize 2 months worth of revenue as opposed to just one. So it'll catch up. It's not enough to accrue on a monthly basis.
Okay, so but you think at the end of the year it'll level itself out, it's projecting that way? Okay, thank you. My other question was, the garbage fund, we're showing we're at 34% as well, and our average would be 41.
Same thing. The sales tax check comes in on, say, May 1st, and it's for April. So it's recognized as revenue in May, even though we recognize it in the books in May, but it's really for the month
Okay,
of
so we're just a
April.
month behind,
And so,
nothing to worry about.
in October, we're gonna have 2 months.
Okay. And then you said in wastewater, we received the grant.
That's the DEQ loan?
No, you said in wastewater, we got a $35,000 grant?
Oh, right.
Okay.
That's not in here yet, though.
Okay, and then, Mr. Palumbo applied for that?
The mayor's
State.
office.
Yeah, it's the state, LGAP. We apply every year. And normally we alternate between Public Works and wastewater with the grant for them to buy equipment.
Okay. And then, the last thing was, you said right now we're 2.66% in the sales tax? That's what we're up for the,
No,
1%.
1.0%.
hold on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong line, I'm
For
sorry.
that month,
That number,
Okay,
right
but
here,
it
that
just
1%.
doesn't, it doesn't, we don't have what that amount is, the monetary amount?
Where it would be about 140,000. If it is 1% higher than the 14 million.
Yeah, it's not listed on the line item, is what I'm saying. So we're up about 140,000. So if the projection would continue, we'd make roughly 280, we'd be roughly 280,
No, it would be 140 for the whole year.
same for the whole year.
14
Right.
million
Oh,
is
okay,
about
you were
what
doing a
we bring in.
calculation on the whole year, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at this percentage.
Right.
Okay. So roughly 100,000 more from last year.
And keep in mind, that's spread, a portion of that is for the FAR salaries and benefits, a portion is
Right, it's
for-
not just a free 100,000 that we can do whatever we want, it is divided up among the departments. Okay, that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
got a are we in order, or can we ask anything?
You raise your hand and you're recognized. Come on.
Go right ahead, Dan.
Okay. I talked to the mayor about, about that LWCC check,
Correct.
about how we got that money back. And I was trying to find, and she said, I think y'all might have estimated how much we might get back prior to a year. What happened exactly to the money from that check? Because I looked in the budget book, I couldn't see under the revenue where we might have estimated.
No, the money is shown as a credit to the workers' comp expense line item. So each department that has salary pays into the workers' comp
Yeah, I
premium.
understand that.
And when that check is received, it's posted as a credit against that expenditure account. It's not recognized in a special miscellaneous revenue account. And I went back all the way to the early 2000s, and it's been handled that same way each year.
But when we adopt the budget, we don't adopt it about a check
Right.
getting a
What it-
rebate on anything.
When we receive our workers' comp policy, there's a rate per $100 of payroll that's included in that, in the policy. I take that rate and knowing that it might go up a little bit, I actually used last year's, the prior years, and I put a little bit of an increase in it, because I don't know what that rate's gonna be until like October, the very end of October. So in preparing the budget projections, I use an estimate of what the prior year's premium, was quoted. I take that times the salary and divide by 100 to actually calculate what each department's gonna pay. On top of the premium, we have to pay for extra things. You have a mod that's usually charged based on your claims
I
premium.
understand.
And there's some other things.
Yeah.
So like, I don't usually like put all that into the calculation. So then when we get that dividend check back from LWCC, when that credit posts to the expenditure account, it's usually right on.
But last year, the check was 100 and what? and some
About
teens?
160 or 140. I didn't pull that one. I brought the actual check, because I know you had a question about
Yeah,
it.
because I didn't know if you projected, as you mentioned, that we would get maybe 120,000, 130, that anything above that, we could maybe put back in our fund balance, where we took that money out of.
But, to the extent that I had the money budgeted as an expense line item, and we don't use all of that expense line item, that money's gonna roll back into fund balance. And just to give you an example, when we allocate the premium, when I allocate the dividend check, I do it in the same consistency as the fund, or to the funds that actually pay the premium.
I understand.
Knowing that, fire department is the largest department that has expense, and also that particular job class is more risky than other jobs. A lot of the premium that we pay is associated with the fire department. So then therefore, the dividend check that we actually receive, the majority of that goes back to the fire department.
But a big part of the fire department is funded by dedicated tax,
Exactly.
where the other departments are not.
That's right.
So, so I think, other departments, is taking a lick because they don't have dedicated taxes to run their department. And I was just wondering, when you get something like this, that we don't know if the check's gonna be 100,000, 200, why, if we project it's gonna be this, anything extra, go back right into the fund balance to help build up our fund balance along the way.
Well, it'll go back into fund balance to the extent that, that expenditure line item's not used.
But it'll be used.
But yeah, they,
I mean,
I mean,
if
that's the biggest check we ever got from LWCC.
no, I understand that, yeah, but
And I
the reasoning
understand about
though,
workers'
each
comp.
department pays a certain.
I
amount of
understand
comp,
that.
And then, so the credit should be the same.
But,
What you're
but-
saying is we should take more from the fire department.
No, I'm
than
just
the
saying,
others.
every department doesn't have a dedicated tax to it.
It doesn't matter, the expense is
And
still
the
there.
fire department does.
It doesn't matter, your
But-
expense is still there.
But
So
you have a fund balance in the fire department where other
Yeah,
departments
well, I know
don't.
what you're saying, but I mean, I
You
understand
still
the way
have to
she's
pay the
distributing.
first 2.2 million in
Yeah,
salaries and
right.
benefits for the
But
fire
before the
department
tax.
regardless.
But
you know.
So
the
it's still-
salaries and benefits are 3 point something.
Well, last year we
Yeah.
were short 400,000.
Yeah. But that's what I question, because
Yeah.
I know next year we might get a check 100,000.
or we could not.
Or
get a
to get no check at all.
Check at all.
In the past, we always did,
Right.
but this is probably the
Wash.
biggest check we ever get. And I thought it was a time, maybe we could have used it for demo those houses I mentioned to the mayor and how you separate it. I just,
Well, and I don't, from the standpoint that it's been handled, that the credit has been posted to the expense account for like number of years. I mean, I didn't want to change the way.
no, I
we did
understand
it.
that, but we would have that option.
I mean, I guess technically, I mean, you know, to the extent that it's a non-recurring type of revenue, that we
Yeah.
could actually recognize it as miscellaneous revenue and just use it in the general fund in the event that we chose to do that.
Right, that was my question.
I mean, I've already posted.
No, I
mean,
understand, but
this
that
is-
was my question.
Yeah,
It
that's
could have
actually
been,
deposit.
just because it's the norm to do that, we could have done it differently.
I mean, if y'all would like to handle, you know, the workers' comp, I mean, we can look at doing, if y'all wanna handle it differently, we can look at doing that next year, and
But I don't-
to the extent that we receive a different check from LWCC, handle it differently.
Yeah, I would just question it because it was something that doesn't happen with this kind of money every year. And I thought maybe we could have caught up somewhere else in our budget when we were talking about the demos of the houses. We didn't
Well,
have
if
the
we don't need it,
money.
we're not gonna spend it.
I understand, but you know, that was my concern, and that's why I asked the question. Know the reason about,
Yeah.
you know.
And we, speaking of the demo of the houses, we do have a plan. I mean, we had $10,000 dedicated to demolition. We are gonna start first with, there's a house on First, is it First Street? First Street. We've got a bid of, $1,900 to demo that house. We're gonna let the man try it, see how he does, he's bonded. There may be some, we're gonna get prices when the Parks, Public Works Department, when things slow down in the fall, we're gonna look at all the houses that are ready to demo and determine what we can do. Some of them we may be able to bid out, if we can get a low enough bid. Some of them Public Works may be able to do, and we're working on it right now. But we're definitely gonna live within our budget.
You brought out a good idea though last time, Mayor. You said the one on Frederick Street gonna cost us a lot because of asbestos siding, so I contacted DEQ and all that asbestos siding gotta be going up in the air right now, so it can't be safe for the people around there, so.
Wow.
maybe,
Where's the house?
On Frederick and Walton Street. It's been burnt for 2 years sitting there.
But thank you, Kim, that's
Okay,
all.
anybody else has any questions concerning the budget?
How much money, do we have in public work? Do we have enough money to hire another employee out there with, Jason? Or Jason gonna work alone?
Are you talking parks?
Yeah,
Parks,
Western
in the Western
Park.
Park.
I believe that Parks has all of their positions filled at this point. I had looked at it, sometime back, and all of the positions that they had on their chart, I believe are filled at this point.
So there was no money allocated for extra, well, not extra, it would be a position that they laid somebody off, you know. And
No.
Well, if the position was eliminated, we didn't,
I don't know what they did, you know, and they don't.
we wouldn't have anything extra.
Whenever we lose an employee, we've been replacing them. I mean,
Right.
we're not, you know, through attrition, we're not eliminating any more positions, but there are no vacant positions right now.
So how we going with the summer program?
Ooh,
Good.
I can't speak to the actual, you know, implementation of the program. If you want Tony to address the program?
I think he left.
Mr. Miguez, do you mind approaching the podium, Ms. Girard, huh?
I'm trying to find out how was the summer program funded, how many new people we hired, and, how much were the salaries?
We haven't hired anyone yet.
We haven't hired
No,
anybody. You're
ma'am.
not
We start
intending on-
interview, ma'am.
You're not intending on hiring anyone
Yeah,
next
we
year?
interviewed, but we have not
Well,
hired.
how many? How many y'all plan on interviewing?
19.
19. And y'all gonna have 100 kids?
Take
yes,
the
you
first
think?
100 kids,
And if
correct?
you don't have 100,
Seven.
you're gonna send some away.
That's right. If you have 50 to show up, then we're gonna have 50 counselors to take care of that. So, and they know that.
Well,
We
how
interviewed
things
them.
going
We told
so
them that
far?
there might be days when they might not wanna work, they'll come and leave, just like the pool. Same thing with the swimming pool,
I'm not
lifeguards.
really asking about that. How are things going so far?
Good,
Okay.
How many people have enrolled so far?
40.
40?
40
Oh, that's good.
And we're gonna get
Ain't predicting 100, huh?
Huh?
Predicting 100.
We're gonna get some, the librarian wants to do a story on it, so that's gonna give us.
That's pretty good so far.
Okay.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Tony, the fee they pay, I think we agreed was $75 a week.
That's
Does
correct.
it include any meals?
Meals?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Someone called me, I didn't know.
Is it include meals?
No meals. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Doyle.
Second.
Second by Mr. Swear. Thank you very much, Kimberly. You did a
Thank you.
wonderful job.